Hello. Today I'm going to talk about the movie that won Best Picture of 1950 um, over Sunset Boulevard, which I already talked about last week. That film is, of course, All About Eve, starring Bette Davis, and Baxter, George Sanders, Celeste Holm, as well as Gary Merrill, Hugh Marlowe, Thelma Ritter, Marilyn Monroe in one of her earlier roles, Jeffrey Radoff, and Barbara Bates, as well as Walter uh, Hampton. Um, this film was directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, who is the brother of Herman Mankiewicz, who co-wrote Citizen Kane with Orson Welles. And with this film, not only did it win Best Picture, but Joseph Mankiewicz won Best Director and Best Adapted Screenplay. It was based off of a short story. And yeah, the back here actually kind of does a great job of discussing or just summarizing what the film is. And it says Joseph L. Mankiewicz's devastatingly witty Hollywood classic backstage is where the real drama plays out. One night, Margot Channing, Bette Davis, entertains a dressing room visitor. Her most adoring fan, the shy, wide-eyed Eve Harrington by Anne Baxter. But as Eve becomes a fixture in Margot's life, the Broadway legend soon realizes that her supposed admirer intends to use her and everyone in her circle, including George Sanders' acid-tongue critic, as a stepping stone to stardom. Yeah. Featuring slow, sharp dialogue and direction by Mankiewicz, and an unforgettable Davis in the role that revived her career and came to define it. The multiple Oscar-winning All About Eve is the most listlessly entertaining film ever made about the ruthlessness of show business. And this is an excellent movie. Yeah, George Sanders, he won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for this, and it was well deserved. He plays Addison DeWitt, a critic. And yeah, this was also, I mentioned Marilyn Monroe, and this was one of her early roles before she became, famous. Yeah, there you go. There's George Sanders, and yeah, Lloyd Richards, Hugh Marlowe, Celeste Holm played his wife, Karen Richards, and Celeste Holm got nominated for an Oscar. Bette Davis and Anne Baxter, who play Margot and Eve, they both were nominated for Best Actress, both lost. Again, Born Yesterday with Judy Holliday. Judy Holliday won, and that's a good film. It's a film where it's like, I haven't watched it in a while, but she plays a woman who isn't the brightest, but over the course of the film, she becomes very, a lot smarter than at least what she appears. At least she doesn't appear to be very smart, but as the film goes on, she does it, and that's a good film. Though honestly, and having rewatched this and Sunset Boulevard, yeah, I'm like, Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard, or Bette Davis in All About Eve. I think that either of those two should have won. But Ann Baxter was really good too. It also got me thinking. Ann Baxter up for Best Actress, it absolutely makes sense. But these days, I wonder whether if a film like this was made today, not necessarily a remake, because I don't think we need a remake of All About Eve, but the I just think that whoever the biggest star, I guess, of the two main characters would be, they probably would be up for the biggest star will be up for Best Actress, and then the other one, who may be up and coming, but equally deserving of a leading role or leading award nomination, would probably be up for supporting, just so that they could perhaps even out rather than basically cancel each other out. That's what happened with Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He is really the co-lead of that film with DiCaprio, but but because I guess DiCaprio, he just gets to be the leading man, where Pitt gets to be the supporting, and therefore he pretty much gets to get all the accolades, rather than them potentially cancel each other out. Though that year, I don't think that either would have won against like Joaquin Phoenix. But here, I think them being both nominated for actress absolutely makes sense, and both deserved it. But I think that the nomination, I think that between the two, if I was going to just pick one, I probably would have picked Bette Davis. But again, Gloria Swanson was excellent in Sunset Boulevard. But yeah, this Criterion release is excellent. I know originally they did have some issues with how it was packaged, because they had they originally had it to where for some reason they thought that it was a good idea just to have the disc basically have like a little piece of rubbery thing there, and then just glue it on, and there you go. That's how the discs were held. And I'm like, that's cheap. And apparently they had disc replacements for that, but yeah, I waited until all that was fixed, and they had actually this there, that way be able to have it and not have to worry about the cardboard possibly ripping, or one day the whole thing just kind of giving out, and then you just have the disc just sliding around in there. But yeah, this definitely does a great job of showing because it takes place in Broadway for the most part, and or in New York plays, and how see Margot, how she's very good actress, but then her boyfriend Bill, he's younger than her, but he loves her. They want to get married, but Margot is like, nah. And Lloyd Richards is the playwright, writes all these plays, and Margot basically is the leading woman in them all, and Bill is the director, and of course Eve is there. She's an admirer, and then as the film goes on, realizing that she has other motives. And yeah, this is a film where it's very interesting in George Sanders' performance as Addison DeWitt. He's a critic, and there are moments where you're not fond of him, really. And interestingly enough, the film sort of begins with some narration by him, and then it switches to Karen talking about how she introduced Eve and Margot together, because she kept being there every night of her performance and just loved watching her, and eventually she becomes somebody who works with her, and you know um, helps sets things for her, like set up certain arrangements, certain things and orders. Basically, that way she can primarily focus on getting her performance done right. And at one point, Bill, he heads off to Hollywood to do a film, but he's going to come back after some months. And yeah, this is just a very good film. It definitely shows the underbelly of I guess the acting world and also the showbiz world. Even though we don't really see a whole lot of the filmmaking stuff on Bill's end, we do see a lot of the drama that can go on behind the scenes of plays, and it's definitely interesting to watch unfold, honestly. And I think this is an excellent film, one that if you haven't watched, you should definitely watch it, because it's one that is definitely worth viewing at least once in your life. And yeah, but Addison DeWitt's performance, again, he's somebody whom you don't really like for various, I think, obvious reasons when you watch the movie, because he's a critic, but he's also kind of he's very opinionated and knows a lot that goes on. But also, as the film goes on, you can kind of you see more to him than just initially meets the eye, and he finds out certain things about Eve that she doesn't want anybody to know about. And it's very, very interesting. Just to say, I don't want to ruin it for anybody who has never watched this film, but if you've seen it, you obviously know what I'm talking about, and how Eve is somebody who, one of those people who really wants to be somebody, and then just the way they go about being somebody isn't necessarily perhaps the most ethical ways of doing so. But how everything turns out is quite interesting, honestly, because you think it's going to go one way, and then things do kind of shift. I don't want to say what happens, but yeah, things unexpectedly occur in the film, so yeah, you can't really ever predict how this film will go exactly, even though you might have an idea. There are certain things that occur, and yeah, you'll just have to watch this film, honestly, to see what I mean. And I think it's worth it, because it's an excellent movie, and it is an absolute classic. Again, I think between the two, this and Sunset Boulevard, I do prefer Sunset Boulevard. I would say that's my favorite movie of 1950. But in terms of awards, this winning Best Picture and Director, I don't have an issue with that. yeah, part of me does wish that it went to Sunset Boulevard, but again, this film is so well done in every aspect, honestly, just as much as Sunset Boulevard, that I can't really be upset. So that's really all I have to say, honestly. Great movie. If you haven't watched it, watch it. And if you have seen it, what do you think about the movie? You like it, dislike it, you think it's fine? Maybe did it deserve all the Oscars it got? Maybe it deserved none, in your opinion. But yeah, let me know what you think if you want, to say your, your feelings about the film or your thoughts, whatever. And I hope you all have a great day. Hope you have a great weekend and a great week. And I'll see you all next time.